Hey, let me get this going. Hello, hello. I'm excited about tonight's live. Come on in. Let's get started. I hope that you all are having a fantastic day. Tiffany Montgomery here, just in case you're like, who is this girl? I'm myself. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to really just kind of hop right in because I have a lot to share. But first of all, if you are watching via Facebook, please make sure you share. If you're watching via Periscope, please make sure you share. If you are watching via Instagram, make sure you share. And I think those are the only announcements that I have for tonight. So, one second, please. First of all, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? So I wanted to come in and talk about skin to skin contact. I think it's such a powerful revelation, and it's something that God shared with me. I've shared it several times on Instagram, but I wanted to share it with all of you as well, and in a way that you would have this live up and going for a very long time. So let me go ahead and get started in regards to what it's about. So obviously, we're all quarantined. We can't really leave the house. Okay. And many people are doing many different things on this time of quarantine. I've just really been focusing on three things: building my faith, building my immune system, and building my business. Those are the three things that bring me joy. And that's what I'm focusing on during this time. And so I was spending some time with God. And during my worship time, there was this revelation, and I have a 20-year-old and I have a 9-year-old, but I've never, I don't think I did skin to skin contact. So I wasn't knowledgeable about that term. And during my time with God, I heard the term skin to skin contact. And so, just like many of you, I interrupted my worship time and I had to Google the term, and I saw it, and God just began to speak to me in regards to people. And he was like, during times like this, the Bible tells us that men's hearts will fail them for fear. Or in other words, you see people have increased heart attacks. Um, you see people dying left and right, fear and torment. But God was saying to me, if my people did skin to skin contact with me, or in other words, this is the way of dwelling with God. I would regulate their hearts, and I would do a lot of things. And so I thought that this was really profound and very powerful. But before we get started, let me explain to you what some of the things that skin to skin contact does. And as I go down this list of things that skin to skin contact does, I want everybody to think of yourself as the baby and think of you having skin to skin contact with God. Now, in real skin to skin contact, when the baby comes out of the womb, ideally the doctor puts the baby directly on the mother or the father's skin. Because it does these different 7 things, or it does way more than 7 things. These are just 7 things that I decided to write down and share with you all. And so that's what that is. So when I go down this list, I want you to imagine that you're the baby, and that you'll be doing skin to skin contact with your father. And so skin to skin contact, it improves the heart and lung function of the baby. It improves the heart or lung function of the baby. So if you are having a hard time sleeping, or you're having a hard time resting, and your heart is kind of irregular beating, or anything dealing with the heart, and obviously we know that this virus is attacking the lungs, when you do skin to skin contact with your father, it improves the heart and it improves the lung function. So babies go through a dramatic transition after birth, and skin to skin contact normalizes the heart rate and the breathing rate. And so I just thought it was so hilarious that I think a lot of us are going through a dramatic transition, right? After what's going on is very, very dramatic, and we don't really know what's going on. We're just kind of riding this wave out. But a lot of us are being birthed into a different place when this is all over. A lot of us are being birthed into a different place. And I think that because, I think when God starts to reveal to us who we are and how powerful we are, we tend to get very, very, very intimidated by our own power and our own authority, that we a lot of the time shrink back. And then we self-sabotage and we don't really walk into that calling. And I think what God is wanting us to do is say, like, just remind ourselves, hey, this has nothing to do with you. You can't do this anyway. You're a mere human. But when you have skin to skin contact with me, I'm going to regulate the heart function. I'm going to regulate your lung function. I'm going to, I'm going to normalize all of it so that you are able to function during this time. Skin to skin contact also regulates the blood sugar level of the baby. So for those of you who are dealing with that, skin to skin contact also reduces crying, and it releases a hormone that relieves stress and promotes healing. So a lot of you are also tossing and turning as you sleep, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of torment. Many of you have insomnia. You can't sleep at night. You're not getting any rest. You're allowing the news to put you to sleep, and you're watching social media and all of these bad reports. And, God is saying when you do skin to skin contact with him, it reduces your crying, but it also releases a hormone that relieves your stress. Okay. Skin to skin contact also gives the baby relief from pain. So the duration of the baby's pain is limited by the close contact with the skin to skin. And so for those of you that are experiencing pain, maybe you have a death in the family or just loss of occupation or just all of these changes that are happening, skin to skin contact lowers the duration of that pain. So where you may thought that you had to grieve because of a loss of somebody close to you, God is saying you'll grieve a few days, but you're not going to grieve how other people grieve. I'm going to shorten that time. I'm going to give you relief from this pain. Skin to skin contact also enhances the mom and baby communication, or the dad in our case, and baby communication, and it boosts your time of bonding. It boosts bonding. And so for those of you that feel like, you don't hear God right now and he's so far away and I'm not hearing any of his voice and I'm not close to him, what's going on? Well, skin to skin contact boosts bonding, and it enhances the communication between you and your father. Skin to skin contact also gives you an easier transition from the womb. So I'm not sure I love that. Muriel says you're built with the cure, and that is 1000% true. A lot of us, again, are in a birthing season, and God, I believe, is telling a lot of you to do something that is beyond your comprehension, beyond your skill set, beyond what you see in your bank account that you're even able to do. But what's so powerful about it is God is going to give you an easier transition into what he's birthing you into because of your skin to skin contact time. And the seventh thing that I wanted to share is that skin to skin contact enhances or boosts the baby's immune system and protects against illness and disease. How powerful is it that a skin to skin contact can boost your immune system and protect you against illness and disease? And I don't think that there's been a time other than this time that we really need that boost in our immune system. And I also think it's so fascinating that, we put a lot of our hope and a lot of our trust in vitamin C. And we put a lot of our hope and a lot of our trust in elderberry and black seed oil and sea moss gel and all of these vitamins that I'm sure are really good for us. I take them. But how many of us can truly say that your trust is in God, who is the great physician who created you to have this skin to skin contact with him that's going to boost your immune system and protect you against illness and disease. So that's incredibly powerful. Again, I want you all to understand that this is an analogy about skin to skin contact, but this is also a revelation that God gave me during worship time for us as adults to be doing with our Father God. How long? So I want to challenge everybody for the next 12 weeks or the next 90 days. This is a challenge for you to go into skin to skin contact with God 1 hour every day, uninterrupted time. 1 hour every day of uninterrupted time. So I want to challenge all of you to a 90-day challenge of skin to skin contact with God, 1 hour a day, uninterrupted time. Yusuf is saying, so even if you didn't get that from a parent, especially if you didn't get that from a parent, because the whole purpose of this is to bring yourself back into a relationship with God that we probably don't have because of our relationship with our parents. And so, again, it's 60 minutes of uninterrupted time with God for the next 6 weeks. Me personally, I do 1 hour before I go to sleep at night. And then I do 1 hour upon waking up in the morning. So I do it twice. I do 1 hour before I go to sleep, and I do 1 hour when I wake up. And when I do it, there are many ways that I pray to God. But when I do it, I just kind of lay down in my bed because, again, I see myself as a baby. I see myself as a child. I don't go in as a multimillionaire. I don't go in as a prophet of God. I don't go in with my accolades. I go in as a baby and I lay down how I would assume a baby lays on her parent's stomach or his stomach, skin to skin. And I just lay there. And I have some songs that I've been sharing with you all, some worship songs that are on my Insta story right now that play while I'm doing that. But I go in and I want you all to understand that I want you to leave your motives behind, leave your questions behind. A lot of you, have questions for God and have these desires for God and have, all your list of things you want from God. But during this 60-minute uninterrupted time, I want you to go in as a baby. And a baby wouldn't have all these questions. And a baby doesn't know what they need. And a baby is just going in to be nurtured and to be loved and to be protected and to be cared for and also to get these benefits that they're getting. So I want you to make sure that you're not going in with your list of concerns, your list of questions. God already knows what's wrong with you. He already knows what you want. But and I'm not saying throughout the day you can't ask him what you want. I'm saying for these 60 minutes of skin to skin contact, I want them to be uninterrupted 60 minutes for the next 12 weeks. I want you to always remember that you are the baby. So I just had a ginger ale, everybody. That's why I keep burping like this. I'm sorry. But you are the baby. And I don't want you to go in with your titles. I don't want you to go in if you carry weight in the spirit. I don't want you to go in as a seasoned Christian. I don't throw all of that away. Trash it. I want you to go in during this time with God as just a baby. That's it. Now, I had a list of questions that people asked, and I wanted to go through this because some of us have been doing this for a week already, and it's been life-changing, to be very honest with you. I see a huge difference in my day-to-day activity. A huge difference. God has been blowing me away just in this uninterrupted time. And so somebody asked, Tiffany, are we to stay completely silent during this time, or do we focus on adoration and just not asking for anything? And so, again, if you are a baby can't talk and a baby can't tell their father what they need, right? We have to assume that the parent is parental enough to be able to sense the baby's needs in that moment. And so a baby can't give a mom or a father adoration when they're being in a baby mode. And so I want you all to, Schweppes is the only way to go. Let's be honest here. Okay. Somebody asked me, was it Schweppes or Canada Dry? It's only one way. Okay. Coronavirus cure right here. It's only one way. But I want you to make sure that you're going in without asking God for anything and just laying there. Okay. You're just going to lay there. Nothing. You're not going to adore God. You can adore God after your 60 minutes. You can adore God before the 60 minutes. Oh, I try not to drink pop, y'all. I do. It's just literally, I just grabbed that because I just really wanted to pop. Okay. But there's that. For 60 minutes, uninterrupted time, don't say nothing to them. Okay. Don't, just leave it at that. Then somebody asks, do I stay completely silent or is it okay for me to go pray in tongues? And again, I want you to remain silent. You are a baby. For those of you that may say, somebody just says, but I always cry. That's fine. Babies cry, right? But babies don't adore. Like they don't have the function to say, you're an amazing God. You're an amazing mom. Thank you for loving me like this, you know? So just again, you're a baby and just go into uninterrupted time and just laying there. Can you play worship music? Absolutely. I have a playlist of worship music that I play during my time. And I'm very intentional about the worship music, but I just sit there and I lay there and I don't talk and I don't have any adoration for God. I don't pray in tongues. I don't pray at all. I just lay there because here's the honest truth. I do a little bit too much talking anyway. Let's just be honest. Okay. If y'all think I do a lot of talking on these lives, imagine when it's just me and my Father. And I'm somewhere doop de doop, whoop, whoop, whoop. And they did that. And did you see this today, God? When you gonna do something about that? And then I was thinking about this over here. What happened with that a little earlier on? And then remember when this happened, God, 5 years ago and 10 years ago? God, did you see what happened today? I laughed a little bit at that. Did you laugh a little bit at that? Hey, God, do you think that it's gonna be over soon? Like when you think the world gonna open back up? And you know what? To be honest, God, I feel like I'm in trouble and I feel like I've been good and I'm on punishment for what everybody else doing. Is there a place on the earth that all the good people can go? And then you can just punish all the other people? Okay, God, I just want to repent for that. That probably won't right, huh? I probably need a little bit more grace oil. You don't have to give me no whooping. I just rebuked myself. I'm sorry about that, God. What you think about this, God? What you think about, ooh, baby, I done read this story in the Bible. These people was a mess, Father. I mean, I thought that I was bad. I wasn't bad as them. It was bad. You know what, God? I was thinking about making this call today. I probably don't need to make it, do I? You gonna be mad at me if I make it? Can I go out there and find my husband? I see a man. I might shoot my shot. Okay, you don't want me to shoot my shot? Okay, I ain't gonna shoot my shot. Okay, I won't do it. Father, I hope this sea moss gel I'm drinking is doing what it's supposed to do because I'm gagging a little bit as it's going down. Okay. Uh, God, how do you feel about this nose ring? Was I supposed to do that? I probably should have asked you before I went in there. Can I get another tattoo? Okay, never mind. I take it back. I take it back. I ain't gonna get no other. I'm just joking with you guys. I ain't gonna get no other tattoo. That's what I do with God. I do way too much talking. That is a regular day. I have a lot of questions. And do you think I sit still to get the answers to those questions? No. By the time I get done, whoop de whoop de whoop whoop whoop, whop de whop, wah, 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 wah. Guess who's done talking? Me. I'm like, all right then. It's good talking to you today, God. I'm just gonna go on about my business and not waiting for you to give me an answer to anything. Okay. So when somebody say it's a sweet sound to his ear, I promise you, I feel like it is. I feel like my son who is 9 sits down and talks my head off. And even though I'm aggravated when he do it, I love when my son talks my head. I mean, Papa got a lot to say. I mean, this baby talks and talks and talks. And I say, Pop, you don't never get tired of talking? He's like, no, I don't get tired of talking. And Pop is a lot like me. I can't be working on something while he's talking to me because he want me to listen with my eyes. He literally will say, hey, you're not looking at me. And I'm like, he's like I was saying. And so I don't mind it, even though it's aggravating, but I'm assuming my dad, um, doesn't mind it either. But I also understand uh, my flaw in that because I do a lot of yapping, which I'm sure God doesn't mind, but I never stop to hear what he's saying. And so when I first started going into my 1 hour skin to skin contact with God, it was incredibly difficult. I couldn't sit still. I could not relax. Um, and I talked to God a lot throughout the day, but I did not realize how hard it was for me to sit in silence and allow God to minister to me. It was incredibly difficult. And so obviously the first day I felt like I messed up and I felt like I failed it. And I was like, God, what's going on? Like I talk to you all day, every day, probably more like talk at you all day, every day. But why is it hard for me to sit here? Like I started to doodle because I kept my notebook next to me. And then I was like, you know what? I wonder what the weather's going to be when I'm done. Let me check the weather channel. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be checking the weather channel. Put the weather channel up and I'm listening to the song. And then my mind starts to wonder about what I'm eating when I'm done. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be wondering what I'm eating when I'm done. God, what is going on with me? And then my mind go back to an argument because when you get done going back and forth with somebody, you remember what you should have said the next day. So then I'm in my skin to skin contact with my dad with a whole case I done laid up against somebody else that done happened a year later. And I'm like, I hope this person call me tomorrow so I can really tell them what I feel. And I'm like, what? I'm supposed to be doing my skin to skin contact. And so the first 3 days were rough. For those of you that are wondering, how do you make it work? The first 3 days were incredibly rough. But I was like, no, I was like, this isn't God. And I recognized what it was. And I was not going to allow I was not going to allow, oh, it is heating up. Can you guys see me on Instagram? I do need the ice pack and I didn't know. I did not allow whenever I do a live on Instagram, everybody, with my other phone, I always forget that I need an ice pack because my phone overheats. And I do not have my ice pack in front of me. I don't know how I forgot. Can you guys see me on Instagram still, or are we still frozen? Let me see. Hopefully that works. So that was my struggle. As the time went on, it was easier for me to sit in his presence and not say anything. Somebody said they have problems relaxing, so hopefully that helped in that area. Yeah, I'll just end it on Instagram because I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they come over here. But for those of you that are like, Jada is an essential worker and she is at work. Ain't there something? And so somebody said they being quiet in thought, they have a billion thoughts and overwhelming and it's drifting. And so what I love about skin to skin contact is, for those of you that are also wondering, like, Tiff, what if I start crying, or what if I'm really overwhelmed in these ways? And the truth is, I would assume if you were a baby laying on your father's stomach or father's chest, that you would start to cry, right? Like babies start to cry, babies get uneasy. And I think that as that time goes on, you'll get more comfortable there. But in your thoughts will start to subside, and you spending time with God will drown it out and you'll get a lot clearer. So please don't give up on your first day or first 3 days or your first 4 or 5 days, make sure you continue to go forward with it, because those thoughts will start to subside, because God will start to drown that out. Somebody said, "Can you go to sleep?" And I said, "I think it's beautiful, right? I think God thinks that it's beautiful. Ideally, you should stay up. Ideally, you should stay awake. But I also think it's incredibly beautiful that you fell asleep in no other place other than your father's skin, right? Like, I think that that's incredibly beautiful. So please also don't get down on yourself for falling asleep. Again, this is a 90-day challenge or a 12-week challenge. And I think that during that time, you might fall asleep sometimes, but then I think as you get the hang of it, you're going to stay awake. So I have not yet fallen asleep, right? I have not yet fallen asleep. I do fall asleep right after, but normally right after I will go into prayer, and I don't focus my mind on anything. I just kind of leave it blank, and I just focus my mind on the worship song that's playing in that moment. Um, and I just focus my mind on God and the worship song playing in that moment. Right. I even had somebody tell me that when they did the skin to skin contact, they grabbed a comforter and swaddled themselves inside of it like a baby, and I thought that that was incredibly powerful. Oh, I love that. Kamara says she did it and it felt like she could hear his heartbeat. That's powerful, powerful, powerful. Evangel says she's 3 days in. Powerful, powerful. Somebody says, do you journal the experience? And absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I think you should take paper and pen in there. Because somebody asked the other day, they were like, hey, Mother Cole, I love you. Somebody asked the other day, they were like, well, if I'm going in for quiet time and God's giving me revelation, how do I drown that out for my quiet time? And I was like, well, you can't drown out God. Like, the whole point of you going in there is to have this time with God. So if God is giving you revelation, your quiet time is over. Like, he's got something to say, write it down. You know what I'm saying? This is 90 days of it. This is not one day. This is now a lifestyle we want to implement because of the benefits of skin to skin contact. Somebody else asked, can we listen to minstrels and psalmists? Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this one. Somebody said that they did not know what it was like to lay on their father's chest because they didn't have a father. And it was really hindering their ability to lay on God's chest. And I thought that that was a very powerful, oh no, sorry, all this shadow, but I thought that that was a very powerful revelation. But I also think this is why God wants us to do it to him. I find that our relationship with God is a lot like how our relationship was with our earthly father. So if your earthly father abandoned you, then you normally have a relationship with a God that is always leaving you when you most need him. If your earthly father abused you or rejected you, then you likely always have a relationship with God that is full of rejection and abuse. If you had a loving father, your perspective about God is usually overwhelming love. And so if you did not have a father to practice this with, I think it's incredibly powerful that God is giving us this chance during a year that has already made history, and saying, listen, I know the world is going crazy. I know that there's these demonic declarations over the nation, but whose report do you believe? When I don't think a lot of us understood in Psalms 91 what it meant to dwell in the secret place of the Most High God. And I think that this is God making it incredibly plain on what it means to dwell in the secret place. I think dwelling is skin to skin contact and swaddling ourselves up and just laying there with God and allowing him to minister to us and minister to our hearts and minister to our minds, and just allow God. There are a lot of women and men whose fathers rape them. And so I just believe that God's restoring your identity as daughter and son and restoring your relationship with God. And I think that while this might be very difficult for you at the beginning, because For some of you, it's very hard for you to receive love and hard to give love, right? And so imagine if you're somebody that struggles with receiving love and now you have to lay there for an hour and let God love on you in a way that's incredibly uncomfortable for you. I think that we need to learn how to fight through those moments and allow that love, because God is birthing a lot of us into a different season, whether that is you being a wife or you being a husband, whether that's you being a mom or you being a father, whether that is you, doing all of these things. I think he's birthing you in a season that's going to require you to learn how to receive love. And if you don't learn how to receive love now, you're going to be a damage to yourself and a damage to other people around you. I love this one. Somebody asked, what if you're just not hearing anything from God, right? Like, what if you're not hearing anything at all from God? And you got 90 days. One of them days you're going to hear something, but either way, you're going in for the benefits of the skin to skin contact. So while you might not audibly hear anything from God, as I shared with you at the very beginning of this live, there are so many healing properties of skin to skin contact that you may not hear anything from God, but you're going to get healthy and you're going to get healed and you're going to get, like just all of these healing properties. So, yeah, that's about it. Shortest live to date. Do you guys have any questions for me? Any questions? Monica says, our day, complete silence, this brain of yours. You're happy to accept and join this challenge. Yay. I've gotten so many testimonies from this skin to skin. Like this is revelatory, y'all. Like this is so powerful. Somebody sent me a testimony today and she said, she was sure that she has some form of attention deficit disorder and she has a very hard time focusing on tasks, even thoughts, and working in graduate school from home has made this a lot harder and frustrating. I gotta read that again. And Norma says it was hard at first, difficult to stay so still, but finally he spoke to her during it and it was clear, and she usually talks too much. She was in silence, which gave her ears to listen and usually don't hear so much. That's great. That's powerful. Nope, the instructions for the skin to skin contact are in this live. I talked about it at the very beginning of this live. So, and what I will do in the, yeah, no. Yay, Evora says she's starting tomorrow. Well, I challenge you to start tonight before you go to sleep, Evora. I challenge you to start tonight before you go to sleep. Yes, Mother Cole says it's also a falling in love with him and getting to know him in skin relationships. So powerful. Evangel says she had a supernatural healing of her hand overnight. She couldn't write, hold anything, twist the cap, dial her phone, and she woke up and there was no more pain. So powerful. She says, thank you for sharing what God has given you. Amen. Leslie wants me to summarize. No, ma'am. But you can please make sure you listen to the live. I'm not a big fan of repeating myself. And there is no way for me to summarize this entire live in 30 seconds, or I would have done the 30-second live to begin with. So please, if I was able to take the time and put together notes and do this live, the least you can do is watch this live from the very beginning. I am not a big fan of doing double work for no reason because you was late. I will put my entire worship playlist in the comments on Facebook as soon as I'm done. Yep, Monica, I'm going to put a link to my worship playlist in the comments so that you can see it. Allison, you're very welcome. You're going to love it. Raina says, would you say to set a time up? Where's your comment? Oh, would you say that setting a time of the day is best way to approach this challenge? Sure, I think so. I know for me, while my times may fluctuate, I do know that I'm going to do it an hour before I go to sleep. And as soon as I wake up, I get in skin to skin position. Like as soon as I open up my eyes, like my playlist is already ready to go. And so before my feet hit the ground, I've already sat there or laid there with God on his chest because I just need my day to go right. Right. And so while my times may not be the same every day, again, upon me sleeping and upon me waking up is very consistent for me. So I think that that's easiest to do so that it's a part of your schedule. Yay. Taisha says this challenge has brought peace and purpose to her restlessness at night. Amen. Amen. Jan, let's see. I also, I just forgot to add this in. I delete Facebook apps and Instagram apps. I delete all the apps off of my phone when I am getting ready to go to sleep. I delete all of the apps off of my phone and I do not reinstall the social media apps to my phone until after 12 p.m. every single day. I have been doing that for a while now, like before Corona. But I just think it's so powerful to do it, even with this skin to skin contact, because there is literally no way or no distractions from getting you in that close relationship. So consider deleting the app off your phone. A lot of you are already addicted to it anyway, and consider not putting it back on your phone until after 12 p.m. Marilyn says, I don't have any questions. I missed the beginning of this live. I will do a replay, but the live about your friend that planted the $20,000 seed was so powerful. Listen, Marilyn, powerful. Okay. I'm still stirred up. Now, I've known of her testimony, but I don't think I ever remember her telling me about the $20,000 seed. So I was like, girl, we got to talk about this on live. Like the people need to know it. So if you guys missed my last live with my sister friend, prophetess, First Lady Paris Leslie Osei, please, please, please go and watch that live on my Facebook page. And it's also on Periscope, but it is a very powerful live. So if that doesn't get you stirred up, I don't know what will. Yeah, Jamila said this skin to skin has brought me an unspeakable joy and happiness. Jamila, same. There has been an unspeakable joy and happiness in myself as well since doing skin to skin contact. It's incredibly powerful. So powerful. No, Naisha, I don't, please don't put your playlist in here. Thank you though. Thank you for offering, but please do not. Yes, LaShanta. She said she did go ahead and uninstalled her social media apps, and she's amazed how peaceful her evenings and mornings have been. Amen. So good. So good. Okay, well, I love everybody. I don't feel like there's any more questions. But this live is going to be left up, so you'll be able to watch the replay. And I will talk to you again very, very, very soon. Oh, I love that. Yes, Mother Cole. She said it's also a time of umbrella protection. Absolutely. I think that skin to skin contact, if nothing else, is a big metaphor for dwelling in the secret place. Is incredibly powerful. So powerful. Tanisha says that worship song about joy that you shared last night. I can't remember the name, but I had me jumping around this morning. Tanisha, do you understand? Oh, that song is so powerful. Yes, Sheeta, there is a skin to skin contact chart in the group. Yes. Okay, love you guys. Let me get this playlist for you in the comments. So I'm going to give me about 30 seconds and I'm going to put the link to that playlist in here now. So I love you guys. Thanks for your time and we will talk later.